What's up, everyone? How you guys doing tonight? We got a great one on Independent Ryderz. We're going to be talking about old school, new school, all that good stuff. But before we do, I got an awesome interview that we're going to conduct right here. She is a young one, just got into riding in 2019. It's Killa Kumi. What's up?
What's up?
How are you doing?
Correction, 2017, not 2019.
Oh, 2017. See, I already screwed it up, man. That ain't cool with me. What kind of motorcycle do you have? Talk about your YouTube channel real quick, your Instagram, all that good stuff.
Right now, I'm starting over because my bike was stolen in September this year. So now I have a Nightster, 2010 Nightster. And I started YouTube not too long ago, to be honest. I think it was like last summer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
you had that happen to you with a bike getting stolen. I hate that. They're worse than horse thieves in my eyes. But walk us through how you were feeling. What happened? What did they steal?
So basically, I was taking my son to school, and it was parked in like a universal garage. But my car was blocking off the bike, and I had it locked and everything. And usually it's a safer place, but I guess not recently. So next thing you know, I seen these guys. They parked over on my neighbor's parking spot, and then I was like, who are these guys? And then like they were looking at me. Some other guy was walking out looking at me. I was like, I think they're looking at my bike. And then like 3 hours later, I go back down, and then my bike was gone and stolen. And man. I was like, not freaking out, but I was like, oh man, it's them. I knew it, you know?
Yeah. Should have got the license plates. What were they driving? A van or a truck?
It was like a blue, I think it was a blue Chevy, not a Chevy. I can't remember the model of the car, but it's a blue car, like a Royal Navy blue car. So
right.
Very easy.
And they found it in Hollister, you said.
Yeah, they found it in Hollister. I got a call just a couple weeks ago about how they found it from the cops. So.
Oh, well, that's good. At least they caught him, or they didn't catch.
They didn't catch the suspect. They just found the bike.
So it wasn't the best introduction to the riding world with getting your bike stolen. That sucks.
Well, the bike that I actually love. So I started on a Honda Rebel 300, the 2017 one. And that was a good bike to learn on. And then my dream bike was to go get a Harley. And so when I finally got the Harley, I was really out there like riding all the time, and then just always out riding every weekend. And then it got stolen. I was like so crushed. It was like so sad. I was crying for I think a whole week straight, like really sad. And then I was like, I don't know what to do. I put so much money into that bike, and it was everything. And then so but I mean, now that I have
insurance.
Oh, I know. So I got paid out and got a new bike fast. I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm getting in my other bike.
What did you end up getting?
2010 Nightster.
Awesome. Look at you go.
Yeah, going from 83 to 1200. So
most girls your age go for the sports bike.
Yeah, that's true.
Why didn't you go with the sports bike? Why did you decide on Harley?
So Harleys, I don't know. They always give me that I don't know. It's just like a liberating feeling when you feel like the rumble, like when it turns on, and I don't know. It's just, and it's fucking badass. So that's why I like them. And I was inspired when I was a kid living across this house with, they always had a whole bunch of Harleys and bikers, and I just loved it. And that's what brought me into
that's what brought you into
motorcycles in general. Like I was never into sports bikes or any of that. Yeah.
Where did you take a motorcycle riding course, or did you learn on your own? How did you do it?
So funny story. I was going through like a rough time at the time, and like I always had so much anxiety and just like so much. So I took a one-on-one course somewhere in San Jose. It was just one instructor and me, and so I would learn, and I would shake like I was jerking the bike, and I would fall, and it was so bad. And then the instructor actually had to pull me aside and be like, let me talk to you. Is this really something you want to do? And I was like, Yeah, yeah, this is something I want to do. Like, why can't I get better? But then like I was just like so determined. I was like, I'm gonna keep going. And then when I got the test, I went to the DMV, and so over there they didn't have like that. It's like that full group test where you can just take the instructor test and the written test, but this
Mhm.
one was DMV test and written because the other guy, he doesn't work with the other company or something.
Right.
Yeah, so I went, and then I almost made it, but I went out of the line at the very end of the test, and I was like, "Fuck!" And then, yeah, and then next thing you know, I had to go 2 other times. Each time I freaking failed, or the bike stalled on me, and I dropped the bike and fell in front of everyone. And I was like, "You know what? I think I need to take another group course." So I took the group course and just passed there because the test is easy. You're not going slow on like the red
Uh,
circle and stuff.
but
Yeah.
your riding skills have gotten a lot better over the past
Oh,
4 years, right?
yeah. So much better. It was just starting off trying to like be confident in yourself. Like it's more of like a mind game than it is like actually muscle memory to me anyways. It was always
Mhm.
in my head. So, and that's how it
Mhm.
got better.
And
Yeah.
you recently started a YouTube channel. What's the channel about?
So the channel is just basically just like my adventures with riding, just going out to like events on like nice places to go. And I'm like just trying to be more into the riding community because I don't
Mhm.
have, well, actually, I started off with barely anyone to ride with. Yeah, anyone. So, and
And
then,
now you got a group that you're riding with?
yeah, so I ride with the Switchblade sisters. They used to be the Litas. I'm not sure if you heard of them, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, so I ride with them, and I ride with a couple of my friends. And
Is it a motorcycle club, a riding club?
I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a motorcycle club. It's just like this group,
Mhm.
like a riding group that we just do events with, and get together and hang out.
Kinda like a social club kinda deal then.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome stuff.
yeah.
Awesome stuff. I'm gonna bring in the rest of the panel right now, and they're gonna ask you some questions and have a good old time right here. Let's bring them in. Right now, we have our independent writers, and our special guest is Killa Kumi on this segment. And then we have the process in here as well. We're going to go around the table and let you guys ask Kume some questions. Graystar, you're up first.
Being that you're a Bay Area girl, I would like to know how is it riding in the wintertime out there?
It's great. I love it. I hate riding in the summer more than I do in the winter. But then again, I was learning how to ride in the winter, so I'm like very used to like the cold in California, I guess. But like, so I'm like every time it's like that time, I'm like, yeah, I can actually wear a leather jacket. I don't have to wear a mesh jacket. Yeah, and I always try to gear up as much as I can.
Right on.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Cold. Come to Northern Illinois, see what cold is.
No. Like,
I'm to Pennsylvania.
Dark Soul, you're up with the question for Kume.
You mentioned riding gear. What gear are you wearing?
I wear riding pants with like the knee pads, sometimes Kevlar or that stuff where it prevents like what is that? Road rash. So
Road rat.
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't want that. Trust me.
Yeah, that's why I had to get some of those and protect myself as much as I can. I have actually have a lot of stuff. I have like mesh jackets, I have leather jackets, I have like a shirt, armor shirt, just everything.
So you're riding around like a tank.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
But I wear it and I try to make it like super stylish as I can, if that makes sense. So I got this cool armored shirt, so I wear it underneath like a sweater, and you can't even tell I have gear on.
It's a California thing. You gotta
Yeah.
look good.
It's a Galley thing. How about you, Process? What do you got for Kume?
I was just going to ask her how it feels to be cooler than 98% of the guys she's hanging around with.
Heck yeah.
Do they all want to ride?
No, not all of them, to be honest.
So the boys don't jump on as fast as the girls do then, huh?
No, not really.
That's a nice bike you got.
Thank you. I love it.
J-Man.
You ride with a bunch of sports bike riders. Do you carve the canyons on that Nightster?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I'm so slow in the twisties. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm so damn slow in the twisties, like because I'm like
It
nervous.
comes with time. It comes with time.
With time, you'll get it down.
Yeah, some of them just fly. I was riding with my girl once through what is it called? It was up at Alice's, and she was just flying on a grom, and I'm like, how the? I'm like, I'm staying back here, y'all. So
She was dusting you on the ground, huh?
yeah, she was. I was like, damn. I wish I can go that fast, but
You're
no.
gonna have to work on that.
Oh yeah, I will. I don't ride enough twisties to be honest with you. Now that I think about it, I'm just more like highway.
What's the scariest situation that you try to avoid being in?
This actually happened last weekend. Some car was like not swerving. He was changing lanes to the left, and then he went back into the lane, like where I was. And then I was like, "What the hell?" So I couldn't brake in time, so I had to swerve to the right, like where my escape path was. But it was very close. Like I could have rear-ended somebody. So yeah, that was like nerve-wracking. That I think that was the scariest time. I had another incident when I was first learning how to ride. I was fixating on like this ramp, and then there's the exit, and then basically I kept looking over there instead of looking at the exit turning, and then yeah, and I stopped right there. But luckily there was no cars. I was like, oh
No
shit.
cars.
Yeah.
Well, it is awesome seeing the ladies getting on the motorcycles
Oh yeah.
nowadays, and that's one of the main subjects that we're going to be talking about today. And it's great to have Kume on because she might be able to give her opinions on this, the process as well. Talk about your channel real quick.
It's just a motovlog that's kind of centered around recovery and mental health. I kind of do a bunch of stuff for mental health, and I'm using the motorcycle to treat my other addictions.
That's awesome to hear, man. Mental health is something else. Let me tell you, I know what it feels like with panic and anxiety. You got that really.
My therapist has 2 wheels.
Rock
There you
on.
go. Oh yeah.
Rock on. So the main subject today is, and guys, make sure Kume is going to be putting her channel up once in a while in the community chat. Go over there and subscribe, as well as the process. You go by Jesse, right?
That's my given name. Yeah, I go by the combustion process on YouTube.
Rock on. We got to change it to like Hank Williams Jr. or something. You look just like him. Anyway, the main subject today is old school versus new school. And it's very interesting to have Kume on here today. And the reason being, as you older guys know, it's come a long way for women compared to our era, where we looked at women who were riding bikes as kind of a novelty, as we would have the, let's, what are you doing on a bike? We have that type of attitude. Dark Souls, start out with down those lines of thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little. In Hollywood, you got to go back on the history a little bit. There was women riding back then, not very few, but there were some. There are some legends out there that have put the miles on. You can't leave them out. They have done that. It's great to see a lot more getting on twos, and to me, it's a change in evolution. It's been a long time coming.
I mean, isn't Gloria? Is that her name, Gloria? She's still riding.
Gloria.
Yeah.
From Motor Mage. Yeah, Motor Mage is something else. Jay, man, I was talking in the general sense of how us hardcores, how us greasies, non-rubs, whatever you will, looked upon back then. How is it different back then compared to today with the general attitude?
Well, in the 80s, when I started riding, there wasn't as many wives, girlfriends riding. My first wife never rode. My second wife here, she loves her bike. I can't pry her off of it sometimes, you know. So I think women riding is a very good thing due to the fact you're not two up and there's less chance of both of you dying in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
Well, that's one thing that happens now with me and my wife is I'm more careful than I used to be with her on the back. I'm more aware that I have somebody else's life because, you know, when we're all younger and stuff, we ride like idiots and stuff. But as you get older, you kind of get more wise. And you were right.
Look at the idiots that just happened in Florida.
Right. Well, when you have kids and you got grandkids, it changes the whole dynamic of everything where you want to be a lot more careful. And I think that was some of the thinking back then was, hey, if I went down, that's fine, but you don't want the wife or girlfriend to go with you. Process, your thoughts.
Oh, I think it's sexy. I think it's great. More women riders, better. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I get a little nervous when I watch my lady friends that are riding their bikes. You know, they tear out around and you see Tiffany in her beige battering ram coming across on a cell phone with a latte. I get a little bit nervous when she's riding because, you know, I'm like, oh, man, if she was behind me, I know exactly what I would do. But, you know, that makes it kind of nerve wracking in that way. But I think it's great. I think more women need to ride. And I've been outridden by several ladies.
Rock
I
on.
try to catch up to them, and they just tear off, and all I see is the tail end, and they're gone.
Some of them go hard. So,
Gray Star.
Well, being an independent rider, as we all are here, I've met quite a few lady riders, and I got to say it's really interesting to hear them talk about wind therapy. The process was talking about his therapist is two wheels. It's that way for the women as well, and I think it's awesome. Not to mention the fact that, hell, they even do clubs. There's women clubs out now. So
How were you looked upon, Kumi, when you first started riding, say, from an older guy's perspective?
they thought I was cool. Most of them thought I was cool. I mean, when I went to go pick up my Honda Rebel in Gilroy. It was with my coworker and her husband. And I was like, hey, can your husband pick up my bike for me? And then she was like, no, you're going to go get the bike and you're going to ride it back home. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. And so basically I got picked up on the back of his bike and then went to pick up my bike. And then he was like, that's a pretty cool bike. Like, you know, and he was just helping me. And I feel like a lot of the older men, they would like really help me with stuff.
Where did the evolution, Dark Soul, come from? Because I've learned in the last year or so, it's time to come into the 21st century.
I think it was back in the 90s. You know, I stepped away from the scene for a little while due to family issues and stuff, raised family. But I kept tabs, you know, through other means. You know, I had friends and stuff that, you know, call and say, hey, you need to get back on twos and stuff. But yeah, it's my wind therapy. It's my go-to when I need to clear my head and, you know, restructure and stuff. But sorry, everyone, I do have a little cold coming on to me. So I'm in the process of trying to get the throat all cleared out. But yeah,
well, I'll go to J-Man on that. When did you said you started in the 80s? We know how it was back then. It was get onto the back of the bike and, you know, everything that went with it. I believe it had to be early 2000s myself when women really started jumping on the bikes. And I have to admit, some of these women can outride us men, man. They can go coast for coast and they're still all giddy. Where we're hunched over and all that stuff. What about you? What's your thoughts of where it started changing for the scene as a whole?
Well, first time I ever went to Daytona Bike Week was 1997, and I didn't really see a lot of women riders. I went back in 2000. There was more. 2001. I went back. It was about the same. 2007, there was more lady riders down there than clubs. You know what I mean? I did not see a lot of clubs, but I saw a lot of lady riders.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was about 2001, I would say.
What do you think Gray Star women had to overcome to be where they're at today within the scene?
Us old, fat, chauvinistic pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Speak for yourself.
Very straight up. Very straight up.
I'm not one. I never have been one, but they're out there. And I think the stigma of a woman in the kitchen has stuck around for a long time, and it's really uplifting to actually see women saying, "Fuck you, I'm gonna ride."
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I agree.
To Carlos's deal, yeah, women have been riding since the early 1920s, but I would have to argue as soon as, say, the 60s rolled around all the way up to the point of the early 2000s, it was a different type of scene that it was back then.
How I see it is that these brands of motorcycle companies saw a vast market that they wanted to jump in on, and so they were like, "Hey, there's 50% of the market right there. If we just put some pink wings on the side of the jacket, we're going to capitalize." And so late 80s, early 90s, when they did that big change with all these motorcycle companies, they were like, "Let's hit that market hard."
Mm-hmm.
So, everything started coming out aimed towards the lady riders and the new riders. So I think the corporate shift had a lot to do with it too.
Do you feel, Kume, that what he was talking about, say Harley, for example, you had past experiences with them and why you wanted to ride one, but do you believe their advertising is starting to go towards women more than the man?
I guess now that I think of it, I think they're trying to hold on to like their identity and like trying to shift it towards the younger crowds. So not exactly just women. I think it's just towards the younger crowd so they can keep the name like living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one thing Harley's been having a problem with is the younger generation. Why do you think your fellow riders that are younger don't like Harley? Do they think of them as an old man's bike? That's why they're on the Rockets.
I feel like they always say so. A lot of people, I mentioned that I actually had like a conversation with a coworker because I saw he rides too, but he was riding sports bikes, and then he was just like, "Oh, why are you riding a Harley? That's like old man shit." And I'm just like, I like it. So I feel like it's just that whole stereotype of Harley, and they think that's for.
That's some of the now that old stereotype actually comes from our time period. Is it where sports bike is considered the new rebellion, like Harleys were to us?
That's interesting.
What do you think, Jay, man?
I wouldn't say so. I was going to say about the women riders in the 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Men wanted their women to stay at home and not ride because they were taking care of kids. They were doing homework. Nowadays it's not like that. So women can ride right alongside of us.
It's a different society outlook now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different outlook now than it was in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So that thing about women been riding since the 20s, yeah, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
Anyway,
Motormaids is an awesome women's organization, been around forever. And I think it really, for the younger ladies, really made a big difference with them in the scene and showing people, hey, women can ride. Dark Soul.
Go ahead. Motorcycle classes, Hollywood, is another thing that brought more women to riding, because back in the 70s and 80s, do you really remember motorcycle classes where they train you how to ride?
Nope. I never took one. No,
they put you on a bike and said, ride or crash, have fun.
There
That's
you go.
about how it worked with us back then.
You
Yeah, I never
should
took
do
one. Dark Soul. Hearing how we've changed so much, where do you think, if you're going to call it the sport of riding or the lifestyle, the scene, where do you think it's going to go? Are we going to ever get a 50-50 mix with women riders?
It looks like it's leading towards that way if some of the younger generation get interested in it. Right now, your demographic is still, between your middle age to your middle age group and stuff. So if I mean, you got Harley Davidson did try with the Buell to get into the sports scene for a little while to try and bring some of the younger ones in, and some of the bikes are building now. You got to look at India, the Indian Scout is leaning towards, the new Sportster S that came out. They kind of being more of a leaning towards that younger generation and stuff. So it eventually would come around eventually, but we got to fight off this freaking electric shit that's about to come through that they're pushing and throwing down our drinking throats right now.
You just shook your head, Kume. What do you think about the electric craze coming?
I don't like it because it's just not the same. And on a Harley, I would like to see how that's gonna be. So that doesn't.
Have you ever taken a ride on the live wire yet?
No, I haven't.
That's like off limits right there, huh?
not my type of bike.
Right.
I'll try it, but other than that, no.
Gray Star, a lot more women are starting to wrench now.
Yeah.
I think that has alleviated a lot of the way we look at somebody.
Agreed. Hell, I wish my wife would wrench. So I don't have to. No, but
mine put her on punch in.
Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers out there, female YouTubers out there wrenching and showing us men how it's done. It's kind of cool.
How do you think process the scene is changing? Is it better compared to the 80s and 90s because of technology? What is pushing the change in the attitude?
It's definitely different. The generation is completely different. Everybody gets a medal. It's changed completely. I'm in a luxury where I'm out in a bubble. So we live out in the country. I'm 20 years behind the times. So these younger guys and all this stuff, the V-Rod riders, the live wire riders, they're like, oh, you're just 20 years behind the times. You mean when things were fun?
Right.
So there is a humongous change between what looks cool. Like you guys were saying, all the new guys are getting these crotch rockets. I see it's kind of I don't want to cuss or anything, but I think it's pushed down. The whole everything has been watered down, and safety scissors and safety corners, and
yeah,
it's totally different. When I came out from my parents are both riders through the 80s, there was just stuff that wouldn't be put up with what the kids are doing nowadays. It's a completely different world, and I hope through guys like you guys talking to the younger people that they start turning the ship around. They need to turn the ship around because it is fluffy. It's way too fluffy. Nobody takes their bike on the dirt. Nobody. I don't know, man. Tough question.
Do you agree, Dark Soul?
I'm to that, the pussification and everything. I mean, just go back to that TikTok video I made about the cold start. Man, there's so many guys. Oh, that bike should be in the garage, and dude, then I'd be in the elements. Come on, man, it's a freaking machine. Get on it and freaking ride it. Fuck. Fuck. I mean, a little bit of snow and dust and stuff. I mean, you're not going to have it in elements. Why the hell did you buy it for?
I don't want to chip my paint.
Yeah. You want to sit there and just look pretty. I mean, you just wasted $30,000 for nothing. That's one thing that kind of pisses me off a good bit. I'll go on the showroom floor of these Harleys, and they'll be like 4 or 5 years old, and only have like 10,000 miles on them. Man,
It's
my
that.
bike
That might affect
two
Steve like
years
that.
old, and I got like 28,000 miles on the sucker. I'm leaving on a trip on the 6th to go down to Louisiana, from Pennsylvania down to Louisiana. I'm gonna be on my twos. It's just the pussification is out there. No offense, give me, but it's just bad.
Well,
It's
Kume,
really sad.
have you noticed? You said you always had bikers around you. Do you feel like, from what you knew compared to actually getting into the lifestyle, is a lot different than what you've seen before?
So
How people acted, how they rode, the whole 9 yards.
So I actually I'm not very knowledgeable, because when I was younger, I've seen bikers and stuff, but I wasn't always around bikers like that. So yeah, not until recently, I believe. Like, yeah, when I got into it, then I started meeting more bikers, because everyone around me was either into cars or something else. Yeah.
Gray Star.
So these bikers that you've met now, give us a feel for how they are.
I guess it depends on who you're riding with. So there's always different. I ride with different groups. I've ridden with like stunners, ridden with some friends from clubs and stuff too. And I mean, everyone's super chill. I don't see anyone thinking, well, especially like with me, as anything else. They just really want to ride, you know.
Exactly.
Have you ever been to a major rally?
Yes, I have. I actually think I posted a few rallies. So I think I went to 2 Hells Angels events. Trying to remember what else I've been to. But those are like the major ones I actually have on the channel. So, and I mean, they're cool. I mean, I don't feel any way when I walk in there. I know I look different from everyone when I walk in, but like, yeah, most of the time, I don't feel.
You're treated real well.
Yeah, treated very well, like with respect.
Of course you
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at. The bikers, that's how we roll. We treat women with respect until respect is not deserved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we need more of that, just like the process was saying, this world is going to shit, and I think it's up to us bikers to try to get the young folks to turn it around.
What do you think about the video I put out yesterday, Jay, man, where my biggest problem was people don't know how to hold to their word anymore? They don't believe in it like we used to.
Well, it's with the internet, it's kind of weird for me to say, Hollywood, because I know people say one thing and then you talk to them in person and they're saying a totally different thing. So it kind of drives you crazy, but you've got to deal with what you got to deal with, and you take people who they are until they do you wrong. And when they do you wrong, that's when you take care of it.
Where is that process? Where is that gone where you hold people accountable?
Well, you got to, I mean, your word and your balls are what you got. You don't break them for anybody. Of course, if you're going to get called out on something, you're going to learn a lesson real fast. And people just don't want to be around you. They'll just isolate you if you're known as, blowing hot air. They're just going to just not be around you. You find yourself isolated real fast.
Have you ever felt disappointed in something, Dark Soul, where a fellow biker would say, hey, let's go do this or do that, and it end up not happening?
Sometimes it does, but I don't let it get to me. It's just like Jay, man. I said I was going to stop at his place on the way to the Rumble. I don't know about it. I went freaking 300 something miles out of the way just to go see him first, and then came up to the Rumble. That's something that's been another thing is lost. These kids today, a lot of them don't have respect for the elders. You walk down the school and stuff, and you like who the fuck you are. It's kind of like the attitude they got now, and like give me type attitude. But there's some of them still got their heads on a swivel, so I'm praying. like he said, hopefully we can get the ship turned around.
By the way, guys, don't forget to go to Kume's YouTube channel and Process's YouTube channel. Hopefully, if any of my moderators are in there, they can put their channels up for us.
The combustion process.
Oh, it was a pain in the butt. I should have thought more. I mean, I'm not into this technology game, man. I should have never picked that name. What a stupid idea. No one can find it.
Jesse, I was looking for you, and I typed in the process, and a bunch of different processes came up, but not you.
Yeah,
How's that make you feel, Kume, when you hear some stuff like that? Have you ever run into people that would tell you one thing and did another, or how do you feel about hearing the older guys talk about something like this?
Give me an example, like
where giving your word back in our day meant that's gold. You would have a handshake agreement. You wouldn't have to worry about if somebody was going to hold up their end of the deal. Loyalty, for example, loyalty was really big with us, and the honor. It seems like it's lost on the generation now.
Well, that's crazy because I feel like with everyone I've met and stuff, and they always say something, but they never keep their word. And I'm like so used to, oh, well, I can't trust them, you know. So only very few I can trust, and even then, I'm like, oh, should I even trust you? Because, you know,
that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You take somebody at their word until they break that word, and then it's on from there.
It's just words at that point.
Right. Do you find that to be more of a problem with your generation than the older guys?
I think so. I mean, yeah, because there's just, I've noticed a lot of, I guess, things in my life. So it's just like everyone's always gone back. I've been backstabbed. I've seen other people backstab people. So I'm just like, who do you even trust? You know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And that's a sad state of affairs because the motorcycle Gray Star bonds us all. And with that came the understanding that you were more honorable than a regular civilian was.
Agreed. Totally agree. It's even more so
in the club.
I was just going to say it's even more so in a club situation. But us as independent riders, still our word is our bond. And that's really all we have.
And that's something as men, club or not, that was always known.
Yeah. Not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore. And that's a sad state of affairs. Go ahead, Process.
It's just common courtesy. I mean, this is just base values. Being respectful to the ladies, being respectful to the older folks, or even having patience and time with the younger folks. That's just common knowledge. That's where it's gone.
Do the young men even open a door for a lady anymore?
No, not unless it's the bedroom door.
No, sometimes they open the door. Wait, actually, the car door? I'm not sure. No.
Dark, so what happened to when a fellow motorcyclist broke down on the road that everybody would just stop what they were doing to see if they were all right? That don't happen anymore. Not really. A lot.
Not a lot. Same thing with the 18-wheeler scene, trucking scene. It's kind of weird. It's kind of similar. I mean, I've been driving truck for 27 years. God, 27 years. That seems like a fucking long time. But I'm ready to retire. But yeah, you used to have like 4 or 5 people break down. I thought it was gone, but we were up on 322 one day this past summer, and one of the guys, stalled out. And it was come to find out it was an electrical issue, but 2 people stopped over and say, hey, you need any help and stuff, and they sat there until we was back on our bikes, back on the road. So there's still some out there. It's just very far and few between.
I do it.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
driving. See it
same
broke
thing.
down. I'll pull over.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'll pull
Gray Star, where we live, it's life or death. If you don't pull over to help somebody, they could die.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, we're a long ways between spots out here in the mountains, and so
Yeah.
when you see someone, you do help. You're in the crash truck 24/7.
Absolutely.
Gume, what do you think about that? Do you ever worry about breaking down and nobody stopping to help? I don't think it'd be much of a problem for you than it would us.
Because I'm a woman.
Because you're a woman. Let's just be honest.
I mean, most of the time I've been helped out and I'm very blessed, you know, and so I want to redirect that to everyone else around me. And I remember a time I actually stopped because I saw someone broke down. He was like in the bushes on the highway. And so I saw him, but I kept going and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back around. So I went back around to get to the freeway just to stop by and say, hey, are you okay? And then he was like, oh, I'm good. I'm just waiting for someone or the tow truck. And I was like, okay,
Good on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what us bikers are supposed to do.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, we
See
were
that
supposed to
helmet?
look out for each other.
Yeah.
We were
See that
supposed to
helmet
look
on the
out for
ground
each other
behind
and
it,
somebody
bro.
else would.
Stop.
Go ahead, Dark. So.
I say if you see the helmet behind the bike on the ground, stop. Help him out.
Right. What do you think, J-Man, that the kids now need to learn that we knew automatically?
Don't mess with the police, because they will mess with you. That's the most important thing, because you see most of the kids today, they want to split lanes and cut people off and ride their wheelies on the highway at 150 miles an hour. And I mean, there's a place to do that, and that's not the place to do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, speaking of electric bikes earlier, 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds, I think, is worth an electric bike. And that's what the new ones are going to be coming out with in 2022. So be prepared. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
but who just rides 60 miles an hour?
Process. What do you think they could learn?
A lot of stuff. Like we were talking about respect, that they'd learn that. I get the thing with the officers because they all want to have an argument like it's their parents talking to them. I think here's the big thing I think they could learn: how to listen, how to really truly listen. If somebody comes to you like your show or one of the elders comes to you and takes time to sit down and talk to you, take time to listen.
Yeah, man.
Keep your mouth shut and learn something, because you don't know how long they're going to be around wherever the garage or whatever to listen and get that information, get that education, and figure out, what the past was like, so we don't repeat some of the stuff that we do, Some listening, I guess, listening.
Dark. So.
We pretty much touched on a very good bit of it. Sorry. Just yeah. Look, I took my shot at Jack Daniels earlier to try to clear it up, but it ain't doing it.
You need to pick another one, brother.
I'm about to go back down there and have a conversation with Jack, and I'm going to get out Mr. Jim and Mr. Bean and then follow up behind it. Dang it.
Well, let's start out with Kumi for this next one. Motorcycles. Do you plan on upgrading from where you're at eventually?
Eventually. So I want to use my current bike as like a project bike because I wanted to paint it and just keep building on it and make it what I want. But in the future, I do want to ride a bagger. I don't know. I'm like, that's crazy, but I do.
How much can you bench?
Pick up a bike, you just gotta pick it up the right way.
There is a lot of women of your stature that does ride baggers, so that's an awesome goal. What do you think J-Man would be a good bagger for? Harley, Honda, what do you think would be a good one to start out with?
I'm a diehard Harley, so Harley.
If she's already on a Harley, why not stay Harley?
Yeah.
Well, until she gets that learning curve of a bigger bike and,
That's
some
coming from a guy from a Victory who rides a Victory. He's calling out the Harley. Come on.
Ain't nothing wrong with victory, baby. Here we go.
When you twist the throttle, they all go straight. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Any one you want doesn't matter.
Right. Rock on. Are you more into the technology process, or are you more bones?
Bones. I don't like anything with the brain.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like anything that's way too complicated, or if let's just say if a solar flare hit your bike, could you still start it? You know what I mean? Because all this technology and stuff that I can't reach in and fiddle with and play with, I mean, if it breaks, I can't fix it. I'm not a robot.
Right.
So I definitely like more mechanical stuff, just old-fashioned mechanical stuff.
Dark, so you have a badass bike. Badass one. Why did you choose that one?
The paint scheme got me.
And what kind is it?
My neighbor growing up across the street had always the bagger, and he took me on a ride with him. Of course, my uncle had dirt bikes, so I said eventually one day I was going to have me a nice bike, and I worked toward it. It took a long time, but I got the bike that I wanted, and then I'm taking care of it, and it's going to last me a while. But yeah, the paint scheme got my eyes on it. It just popped at me, and of course the guy there at the Harley Days, to go, "Oh, that's you right there," and I say, "Yeah, let's go for it and see what happens." So, but it's all the bells and whistles on it. I barely use the heated grips and the heated seat. Because I layer up so much, and right now I barely feel that damn heat coming through there, whatever it is. So, but yeah, as far as the radio goes, it's nice to have the radio sometimes, but I have it down where I'm still listening to my motor. But
right.
Yeah, but I agree with the process. It's that old tech, the old school stuff. There's a lot of like the bobbers, the knuckleheads, the panheads.
Well, I think that's a big talking about indie riders and new school and old school. Like old school, wasn't it like pizza cutter front wheels, real slim down? You take everything off
brakes.
That doesn't. Yeah, no brakes. It doesn't make it like faster if you remove anything shiny. And then nowadays with the new guys, that it's all the slid down baggers, big wheels. I mean, it's a trend. The new guys, they're riding these bagged out baggers. I don't know. I couldn't do what I do on my motorcycle if I had all that luggage. It's nice to have, but I'm not going to be able to get around the cows, the trees, the fence posts, and the cars. So I keep it slim. These baggers are new trend that the new generation are falling into, and they just love it.
Kumi, financing, is that a barrier for individuals your age to get on a Harley? Is it easier for sport bike financing, do you believe? How was the finance experience for you?
I think you can get a sports bike pretty easily with just a couple racks. On my Harley, I pulled out 6,000. And I mean, like the Sportster is just like my stepping to get my foot in the door of Harley. And I didn't want to spend any more. And like for a new bike, because I had for the new bikes, like I think they're like 15,000 for like a street bob now. That's a lot for me to pull out for a bike. So yeah.
So financing would be a problem for Gray Star for somebody that's younger.
I think it would be, unless they're out of college making $100,000 a year or whatever. But that's why I am starting to save up now, so I can upgrade my Victory to another Victory and have it paid for.
Right. J-Man. Do they got to get better with the financing in order for the younger kids to get on a Harley?
No, I don't think so, because Harley is going after anybody and everybody they can get, and financing is financing. If your credit rate is good enough and mine is not, I can't get a new bike. But I'm sure if your credit rating is good, you can. So
process.
I don't think.
My thing is like this. You guys had a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. You guys have touched over for the last few years. So I want to give credit to what I'm about to say. Coming from somebody I heard through you guys, there are so many amazing Harley Davidson motorcycles available that are pre-owned, barely used, yard gnome trophies rubbed with a diaper, sitting in the garage of all these people's house. You can go out and you can talk to somebody with a little scratch in your hand, and you can come back with a bad sled. And yeah, it's nice to say you got the brand new shiny, it smells nice coming out of the box. But in reality, go get one that's in your range reality wise. Don't get into their financing trip. That's just a prison. Try to do what you can without them. And then, you know what? Strip the paint off of it and then spray paint some Molly Hatchet on the side, please.
There you go. Hell yeah. Coordinate disaster, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, you live for the good old days. Let me tell you, for those young ones that didn't live through our time period, I feel for you. We knew how to party. I can tell you that.
Amen.
Dark, so everybody's always talking about how they need to bring down the price of Harley. Do you think it's the pricing, or do you think it's priced right?
It's too much technology. It's too much technology, and that's why the price is so damn high. They cannot bring the price down until prices of computer chips and navigation and all that crap come down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with process on it. I ride a 94 Electra Glide, and there's nothing. It's got a radio. That's it. So
right.
But yeah,
I agree with Jay, man. It's I think Monkey did a good job of a deal. He took his Street Glide and he wanted to add everything that's on there, basically what a CVO has, and it came out to the same price of buying a brand spanking CVO. And he's like, he went out and bought one, to justify the cost, because he sat there and the radio, the front end and stuff. He went down the whole list, and it came out with labor and all. It was like $23,700. So to convert his bike up to what it was, so I think the bikes are overpriced. Really, I mean, I got a good deal on mine. I mean, everyone thinks it's $42,000 for it. I actually got $10,000 less. The reason being is because the guy bought it, didn't take delivery, but because it was already titled, they consider already the second owner, and I basically got a good deal on it with only 12 miles on it. So it's out there if you look for it. Yeah, but yeah, that was my second.
Right. One last go around on the table. We're all bitching about technology, but there has to be something that you really like. Kumi, you're first. What do you have to have?
I do have a question. Kumi, what camera are you running?
Sorry,
what cameras are you running for your motoblog?
Oh, GoPro Hero 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kumi, what's something you have to have on you when you're on that bike?
Something that I always have to have on me is I carry my knife with me.
No, technology-wise.
Oh, technology. Oh, sorry. Technology-wise.
I like her. She's carrying a knife on her.
Yeah.
She could have stabbed somebody in the throat. That's awesome.
Bikers have to carry knives.
I guess like technology that's actually on the bike. For one, I always like does pipes count as technology or no?
You like the pipes, huh? No, I'm talking about are you a GPS or are you one that just like riding and going?
No, I just ride and go. I mean, I have my phone and I use that as GPS. There's not much technology I want on the bike, and I don't even have it. I started off with any technology on my bikes anyways, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
China's asking if Kumi can put her channel right there in the community tab. Everybody wants to go to your channel. You better put it in there. You're losing here.
She's got a good channel.
Yeah, she does. Gray Star, what's something that you have to have with you?
Well, it depends on the length of the trip. Like if I'm going 100 miles or more, I need my earbuds in. Need some tunes. Got to listen to some Iron Maiden while I'm cruising.
Rock on. J-Man.
I'm again not a big tech guy, so as long as I have my tools with me, I'm fine.
Process.
I don't carry anything. No radio, no heaters, no nothing, no headphones. No, that defeats the purpose for me. I got to listen to the world. I have to hear that rumble in order to stay straight.
Right on.
Thanks, Greg, for subbing to her channel. Don't forget to sub the Processes channel too.
If you can find it.
Dark Soul.
Thank you.
I'm half and half, man. I got all that technology on my bike, and I just use the Bluetooth 90% of the time. Listen to like Iron Maiden, Megadeth and shit like that. But like I said, I keep it low to where I'm still listening to what the world's doing. You got to keep your head on the swivel.
One thing, Dark Soul, we didn't bring up. I don't think Kume ever know the feeling of having to break down and walk about 5 miles to the nearest payphone to get a tow truck.
Right. No doubt.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
How about using your glove to carry water?
Yeah.
Come to get those 5 miles.
Yeah, packing water in your glove.
Do you know what a payphone is, Kume?
Yes, I do actually. They still have some somewhere, right?
And just think, we had to do it not on the bikes that you have now. We had the old iron heads, the old shovel heads. My first bike was a 77 Triumph Bonnie. When those suckers broke down, they broke down, and you were running to the nearest payphone at that time. I wish I had a cell phone back then.
Payphones.
Hey, don't forget about with the payphones. Remember the old prepaid cards for long distance, the penny cards?
Oh yeah. We actually didn't get all included in our phone plans back then. It was pay.
I'll tell you what, man, I've been caught in some storms and some cold weather before where I wish I had the heated seats and the heated grips and all that technology shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have it, so I don't really miss it. You know what I mean?
Hey, I got one more thing before we sign off here. I just want to bring this up real quick. It's been on my mind. My old man and my mom and everybody, they're clubbers. I was raised in this world between the old and the new. But my thing is like, I'd watch my old man wrenching in the garage, eating a sandwich with grease on it, more grease on the sandwich, and he would look over at me and he'd say, "Hey, Jess, go to school and get a job. Don't be a motorcyclist. Don't yeah, go to school. Look at my back. I'm lugging the lumber. I'm working my ball. I got my hands are beat, my arms are beat. Go get an education." And so now I like being educated, being retired and out of the field of work now at this young of an age. I'm going, he was right. I had to take a lot of time off for riding the motorcycle. But that's another thing. How do we justify saying the new kids are kind of like, they're not really into it? Well, these guys are going to get major degrees and play with some major money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. It's been on my mind.
It's called the lifestyle for a reason. That I can tell you. That'd be a good topic right there for the next Independent Ryderz if you want to go over on that. Special guest coming up on the show. I think it's the 7th is the Biker Dad. Biker Dad's always on our program. He's awesome. We love him to death. But I do want to say thanks to Killa Kumi. You guys are awesome. Make sure you go see her channel, damn it. And we'll put it in Discord. And the process, it is hard to find his fucking channel, but hopefully there's like a million different things that come up when you put his shit in there.
Hey, Hollywood, have your phone number process?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it from him. I'll hit you up.
Yeah, call me anytime, day or night, 24 hours.
What do you got the close off with, Kume? Go ahead and give your final thoughts on everything.
Thank you for hosting, and it was a pleasure to meet you guys virtually and have this topic because it was a really good topic for me too. So
awesome. We really appreciate you being on the show, U2 Process. It's awesome. And as again with our Independent Ryderz, you rock and roll. It's a great subject, the old against the new, and hopefully us older guys can teach the younger ones some of the stuff we know. I know our generation, my generation, sucked at teaching the newer ones. It's unlike the Vietnam vets, how they taught us. But with people like Killa Kumi and the process, we might have a good future right there, that I could tell you. But join us again next Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This episode will rerun over on Roku, and we are now on Fire TV. So head on over there, as well as all our other platforms. And please go to The Process and Killa Kumi's channel. Subscribe. They got awesome content over there. But until then, you guys have fun. Go out there, party, the whole 9 yards. We're out of here. Add the Insane Throttle TV app on Roku now. Get content not seen on our other platforms. No censorship, no PC. Only biker fun and entertainment. It's hardcore. Again, go over to Roku TV and add the Insane Throttle TV.